then it went away. Out of the 27 trillion I've talked about in stimulus in the last 15 years, 11 of it came in the 2 years after COVID. So it was this overreaction to COVID. It took inflation that, right with my indicators long term, going down towards 1 to 2%, never to be high again, and shot it up to 9%. And then that forced the Fed to raise interest rates 525 basis points. And right now, I'm looking at this and saying, we haven't really felt that much yet. Usually that's a year and a half lag.
So folks, I want to stop right there. He's talking about the lag that's taking place right here. He is clearly outlining that this real estate extravaganza that's been around is going to stop. I'm seeing it in Florida. I'm seeing it in Greenville. There might be some places that are hit less than others, but you're going to see a dive in real estate prices. So here's my premise. What could happen with the stock market? See, here's the thing. Here's the other side of it. And this is why we titled the show, Could the Government Bubble Burst? This is a government bubble that the government has created. Patty, isn't it interesting? Ever since 2008, the government just prints money like never before.
Well, they either print money or they manipulate it with rates of getting the, I want to say clients, but getting the public to do what they want to do.
Right.
Whether it be making the loans so attractive and so favorable to the client that they get in upside down. And don't tell me I don't think that was by design.
Patty, we've got an account right now that the client can add 47% into their account.
That is phenomenal.
With no fees. With no fees.
I love it when a client asks, okay, so how are you getting paid? How much are you charging us?
Right. And we're not charging him a thing.
We don't charge him a thing.
You know, we had an 80-year-old client that added 47% to their account. Listen to me, folks. You know, I don't like to throw numbers like this just to try to sound salesy, but this is an opportunity that is going to be around that you could add 47% into your retirement account. So that means if you got 300,000, well, let's just use 100,000, you would add $47,000 to your $100,000 day one with no fee.
And that's not around for a long time. That's going away. Is it the end of August?
End of August.
And so is the guaranteed 8%.
And the guaranteed 8%. So folks, you can get a guaranteed 8% designed for income, which means that your income account is going to grow by 8% regardless of what the actual account grows by.
And
so
it's compounded.
It's compounded. So
compounded
you could, and we've got some accounts still at 12% simple interest. So it depends on your age. But these are phenomenal accounts, folks, that you have an opportunity to take and help yourself. Here's the thing. If you don't take advantage of this, if you follow the crowd, like I said in a previous show, it's like the days of Noah. You've got a bunch of people following the crowd, or are they going to follow Noah into a safe ark? That's the question you can ask yourself right now financially. I do believe there's a crash coming. Is it going to be a correction? Well, listen, folks, we are out of time. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Go to mymoneyissafe.com.
You're thankful for the smallest things in life. You always did before, now it's just intensified. Now it's just intensified.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group. And do you realize that there is a bubble that's about to burst? We could watch the economic winds of change affect your retirement account like never before. Our website is called mymoneyissafe.com. Why? Because your money is safe. If you want to learn how to make your money safe, how to add significant amount of money to your account, call us 1-800-440-0434 or go to mymoneyissafe.com.
Well, summer is upon us and the weather is beautiful. Everyone has a favorite outdoor activity: golf, bike riding, bird watching, long walks. Ask 100 people and you'll get 100 answers. But if everyday aches and pains are keeping you on the sidelines, I have one answer: Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients. It doesn't just mask pain. It helps reduce or even eliminate it. Wherever you're hurting, back, neck, joints, or muscles, in 3 weeks or less, you'll start to feel the difference difference all day, every day. So whatever you like to do, swimming, pickleball, hanging out in the garden, Relief Factor can help you feel good again and let you enjoy all your favorite outdoor activities all summer long. ReliefFactor.com, 1-800-4RELIEF, 1-800-473-5433. Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor.
Thankful for the smallest things in life.
Welcome back, listeners. This is Greg Ellie of the Prosperity Group, and you heard the song With You, I'm Born Again, and the song that we just played is a song written by my daughter, Annie Ellie. It's called Song for Mama. Song for Mama. And that's a song that she wrote when my wife was alive and fighting cancer. A very powerful song, and I know there's a lot of people that are listening to us that have been touched by cancer, and it's such a shame that we just pray blessings on everyone. And folks, we are talking about a bubble that could burst. You know, I've made some outlandish predictions, and a lot of them have come true. I'm not slapping myself on the back. Some of these predictions I don't even like to make, but my gut has been pretty accurate at times, as well as just my things that I see in terms of what's looming in our economy. And I think we are looking at things that are looming that could be very, very difficult for us to navigate. And real estate market crash, a stock market crash. You know, don't try to time it, because the worst thing you can do is time it. If you are up on your accounts, remember the old adage, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low. Think about this, folks. Has anybody ever lost money taking profits? Know anybody who's lost money taking profits, Patty?
Not a one.
Not a one. That's right. Maybe you timed it too soon. You didn't make as much profit, but guess what? You still made profit. So take your money and run. Take your money and make it safe before things change, because I think there is something in the horizon. I mean, we've had internet shutdowns. We've had an assassination attempt on a former president. We have incompetence looming at the highest levels of our political institutions, pure incompetence. You know, I think my theory is we fire them all and start over. Okay? Because any one of us would have been fired if we did the kind of job some of these people have done.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts when you see that happening. It really is. So folks, you know, take the money and run. Patty, we're going to start bringing the ship home. What did you think about what Harry Dent says? It makes sense, doesn't it?
It makes total sense. I mean, and how anyone cannot see that it would happen.
I know.
And the cost of living, I mean, don't even go there.
Yeah.
I've never seen such a high 3% inflation in my life.
No. Yeah, the highest 3%. You mean 12%.
Exactly. I mean,
if we use the old
insist.
standards.
Exactly.
Folks, if you would like to get a copy of my first authored book, Prosperity Plan ABCs, Annuities Build Control Safely Within Your Retirement Nest Egg, give us a call, 1-800-440-0434. Go to mymoneyissafe.com. The book is on Facebook right now. You can see it. You'll be able to order a book, get a free copy of the book. Just give us a call, and we'll be glad to accommodate that for you. Okay, we'll be glad to accommodate that. Patty, it's funny when we do the show. Sometimes it feels like our show is almost moving through time, like a time warp. It's so strange sometimes. I've seen it happen over and over. You know,
I think that people don't always hear this because the media wants to keep them up.
right?
Want them, don't look, they distract them so that they don't see what's really going on.
Yeah.
And what their advisors are going to tell them, it comes back. It'll come back.
Well,
And you know why they do that?
yeah, so they can keep staying on the account.
Well, because they have nothing to offer them.
Well, that's very true. That is very true. So, you know, it's crazy. I've got a client that made a comment, and he says, when will Trump be elected president? Says he did win the election, George. So he's talking about last time.
Oh
So,
gosh, exactly. I'm like, yeah.
so here's the point. Yeah, I'm going to reserve comment on that just so that they don't shut us down.
I read a article the other day that was, could President Obama be Harris's running mate as vice
Not
president.
eligible to run.
Exactly, for president, so he can't be vice
I have
president.
a question.
Yes.
Is Kamala eligible to run?
Okay, the reason you're saying that is,
Her parents weren't citizens. Not kidding. Look it up.
okay, I'm not saying that that's not true. So if your parents are not citizens, you cannot run?
Nope, unless you were born in the country. Okay, in other words. I
Right,
don't
the
think you
parents
can
were
be
citizens, but
born
they were-
elsewhere. And I don't know the full details, so I'm not
Right.
gonna spread it totally. I just was reading an article and they're saying that she doesn't meet the eligibility requirements, so,
Well, I'm sure that they would love nothing more than for that to be true.
well. Who knows? But I mean, the fact that this is even occurring,
Oh, dear heavens.
and I think they need to figure that out. I mean, I don't know.
But all of this
Google-
brings more and more uncertainty, which is,
Uncertainty, that's right.
which is why what we have to offer is so nice, because it takes any of the guesswork out of it. There's no uncertainty of what we have to offer.
Right. That's important.
Still there, Doc? I don't see you no
It is
more.
important. It's very important. You were saying, look up the other?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
All right.
Now I see you.
But yes, we would love to talk to
I don't hear
clients
you.
and on listeners that aren't clients about these opportunities that we have. And it's so
about
nice.
now?
We have clients that are
Now
coming in
we can
now
talk to each other.
that we have changed some of their
Yeah.
accounts, and to sit
Okay, so
down with
there's
them
an
and
arm
go
behind you
over
or a
the
leg?
policy delivery of
Uh,
what they will be
That
able to
is,
have in the future.
I
You
think
know,
that's an
Right,
arm.
right.
it is so wonderful to be able to do that.
Why does it have a target drawn on it?
So it's a good
That's
feeling.
erythema migrans.
Okay,
That's
now I'm getting lost.
Lyme
This is-
disease.
I'm looking at routers fact.
Ah, I
Fact
see.
check.
Okay.
Kamala
That's
Harris
the
is
classic
eligible
rash
to
of Lyme
president
disease.
despite
So,
misleading posts.
I thought I'd
So it
just
says Vice
mention a
President
few
Kamala Harris is
common,
eligible to be president of the United States because she was born in the U.S.,
skin problems
automatically
in the
making her
summer
a
months.
citizen.
Well, there you go.
Leading constitutional connorers say contradicting online.
gotta
posts
watch out
written
for that
by
kind of
her
stuff.
old And discredit narratives saying she's eligible.
Yeah,
to
and
transfer
when
for
people
foreign
come in and
nationals.
say I got bit by a
Harris
tick,
is a
don't
natural
even
born
bother
citizen.
working them up.
Now,
I just
she
start on
was, even if her
antibiotics.
parents are not, my understanding is she is eligible.
Well,
if you
I
get
gotta stay
Lyme
away from the
disease
deer.
early,
Stay
you
away
know,
from the
you
deer.
you
Stay
knock
away
it
from
out.
all
But
that
if you
disease.
wait,
I
then
don't
you can
know.
go into later stage,
It's
like
just
syphilis.
crazy. I'm sure.
It can cause
this is some
brain
right-wing
damage, and
Conspiracy.
vascular
it's crazy.
damage.
And you know what? I
all
did not
kinds
think
of
of this, and I'm
problems.
ashamed to say it. Can you imagine how weak?
Well, then I'm
we
going to
look?
stay inside
Oh
all
my
summer.
goodness.
It's too hot
It's-
anyway.
yeah. It's making us look
I think
weaker and weaker.
nicotines are
'Cause it
repellent.
looks like we
So
don't have our act
Well,
together.
I'm
If it
covered
weren't for
that,
the
Doc.
fact
Believe me.
you should
The
be okay.
media, etc., is left. I'm sure Saturday Night Live would have.
So
a
you're going to talk about what today?
Saturday Night
Harris,
Live
I
is pretty
imagine,
fun.
huh?
Exactly.
I don't even
Uh,
watch it anymore.
I don't
Well,
either.
I would, I wanted
You
to
know, I
mention
watched it before. It was hilarious. but
Director
I'm just
Ray's
not a fan anymore.
comments
Yeah.
before
You know,
Congress that
Google,
he didn't know
I
if
don't wanna
Trump was
talk
shot
about
or
politics the
hit
whole
Okay.
by a
time.
shell fragment
No,
or
I don't
a
mean
flying
that from a
piece of
show. I'm
glass.
saying, you hear.
Well, they
like-
cleared that up today.
That's all you hear on radio shows or TV shows.
They cleared that up
I don't watch
yesterday.
the
FBI
Tonight
came
Show.
out and
I
said
don't
he
watch
was
any of the
definitely
late night
shot.
shows anymore.
No. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
had- I
but,
used to
I
Stephen
wonder-
mean,
Colbert used to be
why
funny.
do these
He
guys
did.
hate
He was-
him so
he was
much?
hilarious.
What did he do
But
to
now
make them hate him
he's the anti-Trump.
like
I
this?
did. I don't know. You think the head of the FBI could say
Him and
exactly what
Ray
happened?
Liotta should start a duet together.
Well, yeah, without
The-
making
the
it sound like
anti-Trump
it
network.
wasn't that big of a
But
deal.
this is what we've reduced
Exactly.
to, and I.
But
and
you
I
sound
believe the
stupid.
reason all
I
this
don't
is
really
happening
know exactly
is
what you know.
because of
Just
social
tell me what
media.
happened. You know.
Okay.
Yep.
And
It's really amazing.
yeah, here it is.
I just,
Oh, so Tom's bringing up
I'm-
Article 2 of
I'm
the
stunned. I
Constitution.
mean, you know,
That'll be
you
for
expect
another
the
show,
politicians
but
to say
you're right.
stupid
Must be
stuff about
natural.
each other and
Born
and
and at least
sling mud
35
and all
years old.
that,
Yeah,
but
that's my
I
understanding.
mean, when the
That's-
director of the
I remember
FBI gets up
history
and says,
class, you
"Oh,
know.
he wasn't shot,"
For sure.
you know?
Folks, if you would like help right now with
Well,
some of
you
the
know what?
issues that we've talked about, you
Yeah,
can give us a
the Secret
call
Service
at 1-800-440-0434.
blew it so much. They should be ashamed of themselves.
1-800-440-0434.
You
or
got
go
the
to
background
mindmoney
feed on. I'm having a hard time
save.com.
hearing you.
Mind
There, I said the Secret Service screwed this up so badly. They should be ashamed of themselves. Though.
Well, I think that there's a number of factors. You know, the communication was miserable, which is, of course, the Secret Service fault because they're supposed to coordinate all that. And, you know, why they didn't secure that building, it just makes no sense. You got two snipers on one building and nobody on the other building.
Yeah, well, they like I said, they blew, and the guy apparently crawled up the outside of the building.
Yeah, and people saw him crawling.
How did the Secret Service miss all this?
He was on the other side of the building. They couldn't.
I see. Not my job, man.
And then they tried to blame the local police and the chief of police for that little township. He said, we got 15, 20 people on the force, and our job was directing traffic. That's the marching orders we got from the Secret Service. So
Yeah, yeah. No, there's no getting out of it. They just have got to fess up and just say, yeah, we blew it.
they blew it. And I think the director of what was her name?
The former director?
Yeah, she resigned. What's her name? Treadle?
I don't remember her name. No, I don't get.
She won't even be a footnote in history.
Yeah, no, she was. If he would have died, she would have been prominently figured.
Yeah, she's a mean girl. I don't like her. She hurt my feelings, Ken.
Well, we'll have to change that.
We did. We got rid of her.
She'll be back. She'll get a job.
Oh yeah. Sure.
They never really get fired.
No. It's like Reagan said, the closest thing to immortality is being a government worker in Washington, D.C.
That's right. We just reassign you.
Yeah, we'll give you another job. And I mean, what is with all these people? And I don't know. I don't get it.
It's nuts. We spend way too much money.
The problem is that they pass these taxes, and the taxes are basically, they do some good, but a lot of it is just to hire more people, so they got a bigger cushion underneath them.
One thing that really bugs me, to tell you the truth right now, is that if I make too much money when I get my Social Security check next year, I have to pay taxes on my taxes.
Yep.
That's just not fair.
No.
Once you pay a tax, you should not be able to tax a tax. I don't care if it's Social Security or whatever it is.
I agree.
I'm just an old man ranting. All right, we got about 3 or 4 minutes here, Doc. Hang in there.
All right, buddy.
Visit mymoneyissafe.com. That's mymoneyissafe.com.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka always has the best guests.
Well, how do you think this opponent rates against the incumbent Joe Biden?
He was the worst president we've ever had, and her ratings are lower than his ratings. So I don't know how she can do well, but maybe she can. It's a crazy world out there. Nothing good happened during this administration. Nothing.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Weeknights at 9, right before Kevin Jackson at midnight on AM 860, The Answer and TheAnswerTampa.com.
This is Dennis Prager. I am excited to announce the all-new Pragertopia Plus. You can listen to my show whenever it's convenient for you, all commercial-free and all on demand. Now with Prager Plus, search topics, guests, and segments all the way back to 2010. And now a truly exciting new benefit, my monthly online video get-together for Pragertopia Plus members only. This is where for an hour each month, Pragertopia Plus members get an exclusive chance to ask me anything. That's right, anything. It's on video. I'll be talking to you and answering your questions. We may even have a special guest every now and then. I've never done this. Submit your questions for me at Pragertopia.com. This is only available to Pragertopia Plus members. This is our chance to connect like never before. Go to Pragertopia.com or click the banner at DennisPrager.com.
I want to let you listeners know that if you want to get a free book about vitamin C and try Dr. Pincus's Super C22 formula absolutely risk-free, there's a special toll-free number to call. It's 1-800-208-2634. You know, Super C22 is packed with 22 pure forms of vitamin C that your body desperately needs year-round for optimal health and protection from colds and flu. And by getting the right amounts of vitamin C in the right forms, into your body, you're also going to live longer, you'll have increased energy and less pain. And just so you know, Dr. Pincus has arranged a very special offer that's only available to you listeners. So when you call, be sure to mention this program, and you're going to get a risk-free trial of Dr. Pincus's Super C22 formula. Again, this is only available to you listeners, and only if you call this toll-free number. It's 1-800-208-2634.
WGUL and W229DJ Dunedin. Powered by Prosperity Group. Come grow with us and reach your retirement goals.
Experience the best selection of cigars and accessories in the country. Corona Cigar is located at 4142 West Boy Scout Boulevard across from International Plaza, or visit coronacigar.com.
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. Israel says a rocket strike at a soccer field has killed at least 12 children and teenagers in a town in the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights.
This was a disaster for the Druze community in Majd al-Shams, but it was also a disaster for Hezbollah. If Hezbollah fired the rocket that caused all of those deaths, then it wasn't just killing Druze citizens in the occupied Golan Heights, it was also affecting the Druze community in its own country. There are Druze people living in Lebanon, and they will be furious at the suggestion, the possibility that Hezbollah, which claims to defend the rights of all Lebanese civilians, has been responsible for killing their kinfolk across the borders.
That's BBC correspondent Paul Adams reporting. Also on SRNnews.com, former President Donald Trump took time from a rally in Minnesota to extend his condolences to the families of the victims of the attack.
Our hearts go out to the families of these innocent children. No parent should have to suffer the terrible loss of a child at the hands of terrorists or anybody else.
It was the deadliest strike on an Israeli target along the country's northern border since the fighting between Israel and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah began. Thousands of firefighters battling a wildfire in Northern California are getting some help from the weather. Officials say cooler temperatures and an increase in humidity could help slow the park fire, the largest this year in California. Chinese state media say 12 people were killed after a mudslide hit a homestay house in a mountainous tourist area. As heavy rains drenched southeastern China, 6 injured people were rescued after the Sunday morning mudslide. Polls have opened in Venezuela, where people are voting in a presidential election whose outcome will either lead to a seismic shift in politics or extend by 6 more years the policies that caused the world's worst peacetime economic collapse.
Join me, Dennis Prager, on an unforgettable Bible cruise to the Caribbean, November 29th to December 8th. 2024. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun, surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. Amid profound conversations, I'll share about the Bible and my insights into current events in a way that I believe you will really enjoy. Secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime adventure by calling 855-565-5519 or booking online at PragerBibleCruise.com.
Has the magic in your marriage faded? Do the two of you seem to be drifting apart? Join us for Resist the Drift Marriage Conference, presented by Focus on the Family and Salem Media Group, October 4th and 5th at Love First Christian Center in Riverview. Dr. Greg and Aaron Smalley will guide you through sessions like Roommates to Soulmates and Close Pursuit, with wisdom and tools to strengthen your bond. Register now and rediscover the marriage of your dreams at letstalkfaith.com.
Helping you get where you're trying to go. Get digital media solutions for your business. Visit surroundtampa.com. Surroundtampa.com. Just when you thought your smartphone couldn't get any smarter, now you can add the AM860 app with local news, national headlines, and commentary. The answer is smart. Adding the AM860 app to your smartphone is genius. Get it now at the Apple App Store and Google Play.
For today, periods of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon with a high of 91. Tonight, overcast, low 77. Tomorrow, cloudy with a thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 90. Tomorrow night, thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, low 77. Get your weather news when and how you want it, wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Caitlin Lawrence for AM 860, The Answer.
The following program is sponsored by Bay Area Medical Can Care Clinic.
Go, Doc.
Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Bill, your radio MD. I got Ken with me, and we're doing a show this morning. We are on radio live. We are on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch and X and Y and Z, I think. I don't know where we are. We're all over the place.
But we are ready to go, so let's do it.
We're ready to rock and roll. And we even, I heard the music this morning, Ken, so I don't know what you did, but.
Hey, neither do I. I'm glad you could hear it.
So it's summertime in Florida, and of course, there's lots of bugs out there and different rashes that we can get and bites and everything. And so I thought I'd go over a few of those real quick. Now, for those of you who are on Facebook and YouTube, you can see this this bullseye lesion behind me. For those of you on radio, it's a red bullseye, and it's usually on the arm or the leg or the back. And that's the heralding sign of Lyme disease. And Lyme disease is tick-borne. And it's actually a relative of syphilis, believe it or not. And it's a spirochete, which means it's a corkscrew little bacteria. And if you treat this right away, you shouldn't have any problems. But if it goes for a while and you go into different stages, when you get to stage 3, then you start having neurologic symptoms and joint problems. And you can even have what's called transverse myelitis, where part of the spinal cord is infected and you have problems below that area with your nervous system. So that's something that we are vigilant of, although you rarely see it. I mean, it's more of a it's a bigger deal with people who are anxious about anything that happens to them, and any aches or pains. They want to know if they have Lyme disease. And my son's girlfriend, she did not like the diagnosis I gave her when she had some numbness and tingling and some neurologic symptoms. She found this quack up in Clearwater who claims to be a world expert on Lyme disease. He's a GP, by the way. He doesn't have any formal infectious disease training. And he ran all these tests, which you can have positive because we come into contact with spirochetes all the time. They live in our mouth. And so they're a fairly common bacteria family. And so at any rate, he treated her. And of course, psychologically, she got better for a while, and then she got worse again. So it's one of those diseases that's probably more
That doesn't
hysteria
look
than
pretty there.
reality.
You're not looking, if you're not watching on Dr. Bill, your Radio MD Facebook page, tune in now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, right. That's disgusting, Doc. What is that? Is that Lyme disease?
No, you see that little fire ant down there?
Ah, I see. Yes.
Okay, so this is what fire ant bites look like.
Oh,
they're little red, kind of pustular-looking lesions, very small, and usually they're on the legs, although they can get anywhere. So you better watch where you're stepping. And the treatment is topical anti-inflammatories and give a short burst of prednisone. And these little guys, they can spit out like a formic acid that they'll inject into your skin.
So painful.
Yeah. And you know what? They don't want you stepping on their little burrow.
Well, can't blame them. It's house. Nobody stepping on my house.
You know, that's an invasive species. That's not native to Florida.
Came from the Southwest or someplace?
I think it's tropical.
Tropical. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. And then we've got another disease here that's uncommon, but certainly raises a lot of anxiety with people. That's Rocky Mountain spotted fever. That's another tick-borne disease, and it's an atypical bacteria. And it's very, very bad to get. If you let it go, you can end up with meningitis and all kinds of problems. Death can ensue. So that's a big one. So if you're having fever and chills and aches and everything, and you break out in a rash, you better get in to see the doctor. It can be spread by the ticks in the Rocky Mountain areas and some areas of the Pacific coast. So it's not common down here, but it is in the West and up in the mountains
Now, ticks, we get this by being too close to animals in the just high grasses. I mean, how does the tick get a hold of you?
They live in the grass and in trees, and they'll drop onto you, or they'll jump onto you when you're walking through the grass, and they can actually smell you. I don't remember if it's the carbon dioxide that you give off, but something that we give off. They can smell it and they jump on.
I'm not leaving the house. I'm not leaving the house anymore.
They like to suck blood, buddy boy. What are you talking about? It's fun.
Yeah. All these things seem to end up in the brain, don't they, Doc? All right. Well, just get to the doctor when you feel something. That's the best
All
advice.
right. So there's some ticks. There's an adult female and an adult male, and of course, the larvae are small.
Mhm.
So now you know what a tick looks like. Those of you who have Facebook and YouTube, that is.
Yeah.
So let's see what else we've got here. Well, this is a good one. You'll like this, Ken.
Oh, what is that?
That's bed bug bites.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Which have made a little bit of a comeback, believe it or not.
Yeah. Well, why is that? Just people not washing their laundry, their linens?
It's probably partly sanitation, probably in part it's all the immigrants that are coming in and they have all kinds of diseases. And one of my friends who practices in Germany, she said when all the Syrians and the whole Middle East group came in, she said she saw diseases she'd never seen before. So
great.
Welcome.
Yeah. All right.
All right. What else?
It's a big problem for some not hospitals, but hotels. They have to stay on top of that all the time.
Yeah, they got to stay on top of that, and it is a big deal for them. So these are some of the diseases that we run into, and the rashes. Now, you know what chiggers are.
I've heard of chiggers, but I'm not quite sure I could describe a chigger.
They're little bugs, and they inject their eggs under your skin after they're done sucking on you.
Lovely.
And
so you're an incubator.
Yeah, and then so you're the incubator, and the chiggers they will eventually fall off and die, but the little larvae you can attack them yourself with by suffocating them with a little nail polish is what a lot of my patients have used, but you could use anything that will block the pores in your skin and block the ability of oxygen to get into the skin. Now, your skin does breathe a little bit, Ken. So
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, a little bit, not a lot, but so we've got tick fevers, and there's also a bunch of tick-borne bugs like Borrelia and tularemia, babesiosis, which is kind of related to malaria. These are little parasites that can get into your red blood cells and cause problems. And so I think the best thing is if you're going to go outside in the summer is put on your bug spray. Now you can pick up the chiggers walking through woods or grass, and there are even some chiggers that can live in the sand on the beach. So you might come in contact with that, but you'll see that from time to time. Probably the thing I see the most of are the fire ants. They're pretty nasty, and they don't feel good either.
They can kill you if you fall asleep and they attack for like hours and hours and hours. I've heard people die,
buddy boy.
I've heard of people dying in Africa because of that. So
there's a mosquito.
Yeah, they're pesky little things. They can kill you too.
They can. They carry a lot of diseases, and they carry the dengue fever, which is a self-limited virus. It's uncommon, but it does occur in the United States. And the Zika virus, which we haven't had any cases in the United States for a while, actually is transmitted by the mosquitoes. And then you've got your different viral bugs like St. Louis encephalitis and the Nile encephalitis and all these different viral encephalopathies. which are pretty egregious. I had one patient when I was a medical student, and she was about my age, and I was in my 30s, early 30s, and they sent her in from southern Indiana when we had the epidemic of the St. Louis encephalitis ripping through the Ohio Valley area. And she had such bad swelling in her brain, Ken. And, here I am, a little junior medical student, and I've got these two little kids and a husband my age. And, I'm trying to get everybody to help me, the neurology residents and fellows and the neurosurgeons, and nobody would do anything. And we didn't have a lot that we could do back then, but certainly we could have tried to get some of the swelling in the brain down. And she did eventually go into a coma and die. And oh my gosh, I mean, the poor husband, I just had, all I could do was hold him and let him cry. It's something to see. I mean, these are serious diseases, although they're uncommon.
Well, when it comes to mosquitoes, I just this past week I was emptying all my bird baths because that's where they breed. Got to get standing water off the land. You want to keep the mosquitoes down around your house.
Yeah, you got to get rid of them. And the best way is to get rid of standing water, and you can spray with bug spray. Now, when I was a kid, they would pour oil into the creeks to kill the larvae in the parks and in the areas around Louisville. So I don't think we can do that anymore. There's probably some kind of
environmental law, certainly
environmental stuff, and they used to come around and spray DDT.
Yeah, I remember the truck spraying all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be out playing and we'd get sprayed with DDT. But you know what? We were bug free.
That's right.
We didn't have lice. We didn't have mosquitoes. We didn't have anything.
We weren't scratching.
We were not itchy. We were twitchy, but not itchy. And I think the twitchiness came from the neurotoxicity of the DDT. But I actually like that stuff. I used to huff it.
You're a cult of one, Doc.
So that's some of the common rashes that we see. And of course, everybody knows what a mosquito bite looks like. Now, I got to tell you, though, Ken, a lot of people come in to me and they say, I got this mosquito bite, and it's actually a little abscess. And so then you have to go in there and numb it up and open it up and get the pus out. And it may have been introduced into the skin by the bite of a mosquito, but that's your own bacteria on your skin that causes that, usually strep or staph. So what happens is you've got this stuff on your skin, and then the mosquito pushes a little proboscis in there and puts it underneath the skin down in the fatty tissue, and there you go. You got an infection.
It's amazing we survive it all, Doc.
It is, and for over 1 million years now, which speaks to how healthy we are and hardy we are overall.
And how well our bodies are constructed.
Yeah. And, it's taken Mother Nature a long time to perfect us, and we still got a ways to go, Ken.
Well, nobody's perfect, yeah.
Nope.
AI will take care of that. We'll get the AI. We'll get our AIs inserted into the brain someday, and we'll all be perfect human beings.
Yeah, and so some of the Chinese companies that are in the social media business and probably in other aspects too. So like I have a program called Aomi Backer Upper and disk partition, and it does a whole bunch of stuff on your disk. And it's really a wonderful program if you are copying hard disk drives, or if you want to format something or erase something, or you want to repartition a disk. Partitions are the different segments of the disk that have different functions, like the operating program, and then the files that you store, and then your regular programs. But at any rate, this is a Chinese company, and I'm sure they're using AI now. So I mean, really, they could find out just about anything they wanted to find out about me.
Most likely, yeah.
I mean, they could, but what are you going to do? You're going to not use technology because you're afraid? You're going to hide your head in the sand? Well, I think the answer there is going to be to find the antidote for all of this, and hopefully I don't know if we can count on the Democrats to do it, but hopefully somebody is looking at this in the government and doing some countermeasures. I'm sure we're just as embedded in their software as they are in ours.
It's the state. It's the nature of the beast. I mean, it's just like in war, you build a defense and somebody builds a better gun.
Yep.
And then you have to build a better defense. It's going to go on forever, I think.
Yeah.
You'll have AI fighting AI. You'll have some AI machines trying to fight the other AI machines to keep them out.
And you know what Mr. Spock said on
Star Trek?
Yeah, on Star Trek, he said, military secrets are the most fleeting of all.
There you go. Absolutely right.
Because everybody wants to know them.
Yeah.
But they're not going to find out about my plasma weapon. No, sir.
I didn't know you had the plasma.
I'm working on it. Give me time. Give me time.
The laser's coming along nicely, though.
So now we got Kamala, and
yes, we do.
Apparently,
assuming we do, we could still have an open. We could still have an open election. I'm hoping the convention. I'm kind of wishing for that because they are fun.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Nah,
she's already got 2,300 delegates.
Yeah, she's got control.
She's got control, and how on earth people like this get into government? I do not know how she got so high up. It just it flabbergasts me. It's just appalling. And to hear her talk about conservatives as if we were some kind of animals or, mass murderers or whatever.
Right. We're out to destroy the country.
Meanwhile, the socio-fascists, which she is one, they want a one-party country with a strong man atop and social programs and, internationalism and pacifism and socialism and all these isms that really don't feel very good. They give me an itch, kind of like those fire ants.
And all paid for by billionaires.
Yeah, and you and me.
Well, yeah. Once we break the billionaires, they're going to come after the rest of us. That's right.
Yep.
I should come after us first.
But we got J.D. Vance now on the bottom half of the ticket with Trump. And, this is an interesting guy. He actually was in the Marines, and he was embedded in, I believe, in Iraq as a Marine reporter and journalist, because, you have to have battalion and or not platoon, but battalion and Army historians and people that document what's going on, as well as covering other people's butts because of all the international laws now that you have to obey. And he grew up, I guess, fairly poor. His family was originally from West Virginia, and I think they lived in Ohio most of his childhood. His father and mother were divorced early. He was raised pretty much by his maternal grandparents, and he took their name. He was born James Donald Bowman, and then his mother's second husband, he took that name. His mother had his name changed, and then when he went to live with his grandparents, he got the Vance part of it, which I kind of like. That's a nice name.
Vance is a very nice name. Yes.
Yeah, it's a very nice name. And then he came back from Iraq and the Marines, and he decided he wanted to do something with his life. And apparently he'd been interested in politics all his life. So he went back to school, and he got his bachelor's degree in political science. And then he went to Yale Law School. Smart boy. And
yes,
he was on their paper, The Review. And one of his teachers said, you got to write your life history and put it into a biography or autobiography. And that's when he wrote Hillbilly Elegy, which I didn't know anything about, where he recounts his life growing up in poverty and abuse and neglect. Apparently he's done pretty darn well. And he's been in a whole bunch of different things, including law practices and venture capitalism. And so I think it's a good pick. Everybody was scratching their heads initially, but I think that he will be able to pull the Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, blue collar.
The heartland. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
The Midwest, right? That's more the Midwest. That's just the Midwest. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to help with the Midwest. And because people are going to say, well, Trump picked one of us as his running mate.
That's the whole idea. That's why you pick somebody not from your state.
Yeah, and I think that it was probably a good move on Trump's part, but we'll see. But, you know, the thing about the Democrats and wanting to get rid of Biden is they didn't care if he was demented or not. They could have cared less. What they're afraid of is that they're going to lose seats in the House and the Senate if he's at the top of the ticket. Because people are looking at that and saying, I'm not voting for that demented old man.
You'll bring turnout down around the nation. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we've got a political morass, and now their only viable alternative was Kamala Harris, who is left of left, and now she's saying she's law and order. And did you hear she said she didn't? They're trying to say she didn't have anything to do with the border. She was not the border czar.
She is the border czar.
She was appointed.
Yeah, she's been the border czar for years.
It's amazing to me how quickly people do forget and how easily they can be persuaded into thinking something that's not real. I guess it's called gaslighting, right?
Yeah, it's called propaganda.
It's when you get people to start to think and feel and believe in something that you want them to think and feel and believe, but it's not reality.
Exactly. Yes, you brainwash them. So, yeah, not good.
Yeah,
who do you think she's going to pick? Any idea who she's going to pick for her running mate? Any feeling at the moment?
She's narrowed it down to 3 people, none of whom I know. One's a governor, and one looks like her girlfriend, and I don't know. I have no idea. But it's really scary to think that somebody like this could be president of our country.
I know.
I mean,
well, you know, that's what they used to say about Ronald Reagan too before he actually got in there.
Well, that's what the left said.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what so you can't put any weight on something like that.
Well, but you got to look at his record. I mean, he was a conservative from the 60s forward. I think he was liberal when he was in the 40s, when he was the president of the Screen Actors Guild, and he had to go and negotiate with the bigwigs at the studios. But he quickly changed over the next 10, 20 years.
Well, by the time he was governor, he was a staunch Republican by then. Yes.
Yeah, and you knew where he stood. I mean,
yeah.
he did not pull any punches. And you don't know where Kamala stands because she's just telling people what they want to hear, which is, I think, part of the problem with the Democrats is they want to appeal to that emotional side of people rather than the intellectual side. And it works for them, that's for sure.
Doc, you know what time it is?
Yeah.
It's time to get a cup of coffee.
All right, let's do it, man.
But you're going to need a mug, folks, and I just happen to have 2 for you. Hold them up there, Doc, on Facebook so they can all see them over there. 2 Dr. Bill, your Radio MD coffee mugs up for grabs right now at 877-969-8600. All you have to do is be the first person to answer this easy question. And I say it's easy because if you've been listening to the whole show from the beginning, not a problem. If not, well, you may have a problem. 877-969-8600, that number again. First caller, if you won in the past 30 days, you have to wait till your 30 days have passed. But otherwise, you are eligible. The question today, we were talking about tick-borne diseases and rashes at the beginning of the show. And today's question is, what disease does a target-shaped rash signify? I think I put that all right.
Yeah, it's a bullseye lesion.
Bullseye, yeah, but it looks like
red, and it's it's round, red.
It looks like the Target logo.
Yeah, it's got an outer circle and then a little flesh color and then an inner circle of red. And
right, and that what disease does that indicate?
You know, Ken, we're going to have to figure out some way to reward people on Facebook and YouTube and set up something. I want you to think about that during the break, and I'll get back to you.
How can we reward the folks on Facebook? Okay, I'll think about that one. Well, yeah,
We'll have
talk
to think
it.
about how we can, get people to respond, and maybe we'll have a little prize for the first person who responds on Facebook or YouTube. But we have to figure out how to do that.
Yeah,
we're not. Our basic nature is radio.
That's right. Exactly. Especially me. All right, 877-969-8600 is the number to call. So do that right now.
We'll be right back. This is Dr. Bill.
Experience the best selection of cigars and accessories in the country. Corona Cigar is located at 4142 West Boy Scout Boulevard across from International Plaza, or visit coronacigar.com.
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. Israeli authorities say a rocket from Lebanon struck a soccer field in the Israeli-controlled Golan Heights. It killed 12 children and teenagers and raised fears of a broader regional war between Israel and Hezbollah, which has denied a role in the attack. Former President Donald Trump continued a pattern of escalating attacks against his likely opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris. Mr. Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, appeared at a rally yesterday in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Vice President Harris's campaign has raised $200 million since she emerged as the likely Democratic presidential nominee last week. The campaign announced a fundraising total for Harris, saying about 66% of donations came from first-time contributors. And that was first-time contributors in the 2024 election cycle. More details at srnews.com.
Dr. Bill for Bay Area Medical, located at 6399 38th Avenue North in St. Pete, 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. Full-service clinic with x-ray, heart imaging, ultrasound, stress testing, and minor surgery. We provide quality health care in a warm and friendly atmosphere. We are multilingual, well-trained, and certified. Most American insurance and new patients accepted. Bay Area Medical, home of Can Care, 727-384-6411. 727-384-6411.
Dr. Bill here. With social distancing and sheltering in place, telemedicine is here. Bay Area Medical Home of Can Care Clinic offers telemedicine for new and established patients. You can see me without an in-office visit. Schedule an appointment at 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. When it's time for your appointment, type this web address into your cell phone or computer web browser, doxy.me/Bay Area Med. A cell phone works well and is all you really need. For computers, you need a web camera and speakers. We'll give you this address when you call for your appointment. We accept most insurances and travel insurances. Canadians and visitors, please call your travel insurance company for an authorization number prior to the visit. Copays and deductibles apply. Self-pay rates are available. Just ask. We accept credit cards, PayPal, and Stripe. 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411.
Dr. Bill here. My friends at St. Pete MRI and Sleep Diagnostics are your best choice for state-of-the-art MRI, CT, and sleep studies. Quality unsurpassed. 25 years experience makes St. Pete MRI my go-to imaging center. Self-pay rates are competitive and out-of-pocket cost a fraction of a hospital. Conveniently accessible from both sides of the bay at 750 94th Avenue North, St. Pete, near the Gandhi. 727-577-2220, 727-577-2220.
Helping you get where you're trying to go. Get digital media solutions for your business. Visit surroundtampa.com. surroundtampa.com.
For today, periods of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon with a high of 91. Tonight, overcast, low 77. Tomorrow, cloudy with a thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 90. Tomorrow night, thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, low 77. Get your weather news when and how you want it, wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Caitlin Lawrence for AM 860, The Answer.
Go, Doc. And I'm back. This is Dr. Bill, your radio MD. How's everybody doing? Good? Did we get a winner?
We did get a winner. Yes, we did. Hang on a second. Let me get that name here for you.
Okay.
There we are. It is Douglas Lichterman, Douglas Lichterman of St. Petersburg, Florida, is our winner today. He knew that target rash is from Lyme disease. So, looks like a
Wow.
target. If you ever see that on your legs or your arms or anywhere in your body, you might want to call a doctor. So, congratulations to Douglas. He gets 2 Dr. Bill, your Radio MD coffee mugs, and thanks to everybody who tried to call in. We had a lot of callers try and win this one, so they are paying attention out there, Doc.
Looks like we lost our Zoom feed.
Oh no, I'm still with you on Zoom.
I mean, out to restream. So I don't know if Facebook and YouTube if they're saying it now, but that's okay. We'll get back on there. I don't know what happened.
Well, you want to talk about them while they're gone?
Yeah, let's do that.
You could activate your chat on your Zoom thing here and your Facebook thing, and you could do a contest like that if you wanted to. I imagine first one to chat in the correct answer would win.
Yep, we could do that, couldn't we?
We give that a try sometime.
So at any rate, the director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, who, by the way, Trump appointed, he was testifying before Congress, and he said he didn't know if Trump was shot or a piece of shrapnel hit his ear or a piece of broken glass. You know, it's just as stunning how much they hate this guy and how they want to make him look like he's some kind of phony and a fool and all that. But
you think that because he was appointed by Trump? I mean, maybe it's just incompetence. Maybe these guys are out playing golf. You know, they're just not in touch with what's going on in the department. They let it run on its own.
Well, the FBI came out later and corrected him and said Trump was shot by a bullet.
Right, but he should have known that. He's going to testify before Congress. He should have known that walking in the door.
And then he's saying that we're going to do a thorough investigation. He doesn't even know if Trump got shot or not.
Yeah, I try to mean it's crazy.
Well, I don't believe that. I think he knew Trump got shot. I think he was just trying to minimize it and make it sound like it wasn't all that bad and he wasn't in that much danger. But of course he was.
Yeah. That only missed the, not even a piece of shrapnel, a quarter inch from the brain is not a good thing.
No, it's not. And what are you going to do though, Ken? I mean, the hatred of Trump, it's the Trump derangement syndrome. It just makes no sense. Now, my father and mother, they hated all the Republican presidents. And I told you this story. My father said that Reagan was making people homeless. And so I did some research and I found an article from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. I think I talked about this before. And their analysis, which is a liberal organization, by the way, and their analysis was that most of the homelessness was related to alcoholism, and then some of it was psychiatric illnesses and drug abuse. And so I think that, and then when I told my father that, he said, "I don't believe it." I said, "Well, why don't you go work down at St. Vincent de Paul Soup Kitchen, which is the Catholic charity for the indigent." And so he worked there for 2 or 3 nights, and then he came back, and I said, "Are you still working that?" "No, I quit." I said, "Why?" He said, "They're just a bunch of GD drunks." Like, "Pops, I told you that, but what are you going to do? You can't. You can't. You can fix ignorance. You can't fix stupid, and you cannot. And it's hard to fix emotionalism because.
Well, at least he saw the light.
Yeah, but he still didn't like Reagan.
Oh, okay. Well,
and he didn't like Bush 1, and he said, "This is a stupid war." And I said, everybody's marched through the Tigris and Euphrates Valley from Alexander. What's the big deal? At any rate,
he was against going after Iraq after they went after Kuwait.
Yeah, he was
really.
Yeah.
Wow, he really did hate the Republicans, didn't he?
Now, the thing about J.D. Vance is that after he came back from Iraq, he decided that it was not a good thing that we were doing there. And he even met with Vice President Cheney as one of the reporters for the Marines. And his thought was that we really had no business trying to instill or implement democracy in Iraq. And, my point of view on this has consistently been, I mean, that's perhaps what we tell the foot soldiers so that we can get them out there doing the job, is that we're here for a sacred cause to bring democracy and freedom to the poor Iraqis. But I think that our number one goal, besides kicking them out of Kuwait and helping the Kurds who were being systematically eliminated by Saddam Hussein, I think that we were there to establish a beachhead. We had a beachhead in Iraq, and we had another one in Afghanistan, and guess what was right between them?
Well, Kuwait is between those two.
Iran.
And Iran. You're right.
Iraq borders Iran, and Afghanistan borders Iran, and so does Pakistan.
I know Pakistan's in there. Yeah, okay.
So we had two beachheads going, and of course the Democrats upended all of that. I think we still have a base in Iraq, but we certainly don't have anything in Afghanistan anymore.
No, but
we had a containment zone there for the Iranians. And
we had a nice beginning of a pincer action if we wanted to move into Iran.
Yeah, and these people are, I mean, not the Iranians, because I've met a lot of Iranians. They're nice people, and they're pretty liberal for Muslims. But the Ayatollahs that are in charge, it's a theocratic state. It's a fascist theocracy, and by that I mean, as I've said before, with socio-fascism, it's a one-party state with a strong man at top and a lot of control over the people. And they do allow, of course, private enterprise, but only that private enterprise that is beneficial to the government and what they think is necessary. So we got a mess going here, buddy boy.
Yeah, the people of Iran are going to have to change that unless there's a massive war.
Yeah, and they backed down after the Israelis dropped some bombs on them a month or two ago.
Yeah,
but now they're pushing the Houthis and Hezbollah and everybody else. And did you see where there was an attack? I think it was yesterday or the day before. A rocket hit a playground in Israel and killed one or two dozen kids.
Yeah, very sad. Has Israel responded for that yet? I don't think they have.
No, but they will.
They will. Yes, they will.
Yes, they will.
Plotting that right now. Yeah.
And I mean, if you think they're going to just go in there and take out a playground, you better think again.
Yeah.
So, and then we have the international community saying Israel needs to come to the table and get out of the Gaza Strip. The hell they do. I mean, they better stay a long time.
Otherwise, they'll be doing it again.
Oh, yeah, it'll be back up in, 10, 20 years. And we owe all of this to the idiot Jimmy Carter, who walked away from the Shah of Iran back in the late 70s and said, oh, we can do business with the Ayatollahs. What are you, crazy? And of course, that didn't work out so well. So the whole foreign policy that we had working in the Middle East was upended by Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
And
sometimes
choose him out to be some kind of a good guy, and he's not.
But it just shows you how tough it is for a country to choose a good president. You got two governors. One, Reagan, turned out to be one of the best presidents the country ever had. And then 6 years later, we choose another governor from Georgia, and it was a disaster.
Yep.
It was 6 years. It was 4 years before Ronnie with Jimmy. So.
Yep. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So there's an Arizona copper mine that is under construction or being planned, and there's a big fight down there because the locals are saying, well, this will disrupt our ecosystem here, and we're going to have a mile deep crater, and it's going to make a mess and everything else and pollute the land. And then you've got some Native American tribes down there that are saying, well, this is encroaching on our sacred burial grounds. And so it's going up to the Supreme Court, Ken, as a freedom of religion issue. Now, I don't know if the interpretation of freedom of religion means that you can declare certain piece of land sacred and then nobody can touch it. I mean, that's what Islam has done with their mosque. You're not supposed to tear a mosque down once it's put up. Of course, India is kind of poo-pooing that, and they want to put a road in there. They'll tear the mosque down, if it's in the way. But I never knew that religious freedom meant protecting a burial ground. I thought that if you didn't like what the government was going to do, you dug up the bodies and you moved them somewhere else.
That's been done many, many times, yeah. But this is an Indian reservation thing, and that's a whole different part of law.
Yeah.
It's what can you? I don't think we can go on the reservation at all. Don't they have their own courts if they want them? They can have their own courts, and they have their own gambling establishments, as we can see here.
Which is stupid.
Right, but I mean, there's a whole different set of laws when you're dealing with Indian reservations.
And we've enabled them to be dependent, and so this is another poverty group that's sucking off the government tit.
Yeah,
you and I are paying for it, Ken.
Yep.
And it just enables people to sit and do nothing, and that's not a good thing. I mean, they should be assimilated into the society, into American culture, and that can be the end of it. I mean, they can still have their own towns and all that, but why should they be treated any different than the rest of us who are living here? Say, well, they were here, as natives, and they're the indigenous people. No, they're not. They came over 10, 20,000 years ago on the Siberian landmass, and nobody's native to the Americans.
That's very true. Yeah. As far as we know. Yeah. But you know what? We've got these agreements with the Indian reservations that date back 200 years, So what do? That's what the Supreme Court has to decide.
Well, you say to hell with it, and you break them, and you do what's in the best interest of the country, and we need the copper. So this is a big mine that's going to supply us with one of our most basic metals that we need for everything from electricity to cars to batteries to, I mean, you use it in a whole ton of stuff. We used to make pennies out of it.
Don't we still?
I don't know. Do we?
Sure. I don't know.
I haven't seen a penny in a long time.
I know they cost more to make than they're worth. So
yeah. So
well, it'd be interesting to see what the Supreme Court does with this, because the reservation, it's a whole different class of law.
So apparently it's the San Carlos tribe down there that's upset, and who knows? I mean, how much of this is real and how much of it is power play and how much of it is, we're here and don't mess with us, that sort of thing. But I think
maybe they want to mine it themselves and make all the money themselves.
Well, I mean, they can have a piece of it. I don't care, but
then maybe that's what they're looking for. So maybe it's money buys the access.
They may be jockeying for cash.
Yeah, money buys the access.
Yes, it does.
Maybe that's just what's going on here.
At any rate, to me, it's a no-brainer. We have a responsibility to take care of the majority of the people and their health and welfare, and having precious metals and rare metals and metals like copper available to us for the various things we use them for. And you think, well, what do we use platinum for? Well, we use it for a lot of things. We use it in computers. We use it in electronics. I think that the catalytic converters at one time were lined with platinum, but I don't remember.
I think they still are. That's why they're stolen, because they melt them down for the platinum.
Well, dang, why wasn't I thinking of that?
Yeah, it's hard work, Doc. You got to crawl on the cars.
So did you see where the other day United States and Canadian fighter jets intercepted Russian and Chinese bombers?
Yeah, they're working together now, are they? Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of flying close to our turf.
Well,
we didn't like that.
I would have sent up an F-22 and just flown right in front of them. They would have never seen it coming. Would have freaked them out.
Yep. They probably sent up F-15s or F-16s.
More than likely, yeah.
They don't want to risk losing an F-22 over some propeller planes.
That's right. Their bombers are still propeller, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, not tough to take out.
So
I'm not too concerned about their bombers. Concerned about their missiles, especially China, but not their bombers.
Yeah, I don't care about their missiles. I'm not that worried. I'm more concerned about the economic impact they're having on the country, but I may be wrong there.
No, that's where the real war is.
Yep.
You know, it's online.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you going to do, Doc? Nobody listens to what we say, so
I'm going to keep working on my plasma weapon. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. When you get that working, let me know. I want to live next door to you at that point.
Yeah, when I get it perfected, we'll try it out on Moscow first and see how it works.
Let's not aim for mine. Let's try Iran first. We'll take out something in Iran first.
Yeah, let's do it. So now we got rid of Biden. He's not going to be running. And I guess the Congress, a lot of people in the Congress were worried that they were going to lose seats in the Congress if he was on the top of the ticket. And now they have some confidence that even if Kamala loses to Trump, Kamala, however you pronounce it, that they'll still hold onto some seats because she'll bring out some of the liberals and some of the independents who would have stayed home otherwise if Biden was on the ticket.
Well, I've been reading, she's been generating a lot of interest from younger voters, which I guess Biden had completely. They just disappeared for him.
Well, I think the other thing too is we're in the honeymoon phase of her recent announcement or nomination or whatever you want to call it. And how long will this last?
Probably through the convention.
Yeah, and how will she do in a debate against Trump?
Boy, that's a tough one. I don't know.
I think that, no matter what Trump says, the press is going to say, oh, that's a lie. And if she says, I wasn't czar of the border, and I wasn't in charge of the border, the press is going to back her up and say, that's right. It was Joe Blow who President Biden appointed, and she was just a figurehead.
That was a presidential proclamation, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, there's got to be paperwork on that somewhere.
Yeah, but are you going to believe it? I mean, it could be made up by J.D. Vance because he can write.
I have a feeling that's in the archives somewhere. We can pull that one out.
Yep.
She's not going to be able to get around the border. And that's her real weakness, I think.
That is.
Along with the entire Democratic Party.
Yep. It's a weakness.
But it looks like they may be coming around now. A little, maybe it's a little slow, but I'm hearing more and more dissatisfied Democrats about the border.
Well, I hope you're right. And you probably know more than I do. My practice is fairly conservative. I have some liberals in there, but a lot of the people are older, and so they're more conservative. As we get older, we tend to get a little bit more pull in things a little bit more. And when we're young, we're more willing to give things away and be liberal.
Well, I've been talking to some of my friends back in Illinois, and they're all hardened Democrats. So that's why I'm in Florida.
and so they're saying that they're starting to see the young people get involved, volunteering, that kind of thing. Yeah. Well, how do they feel about Kamala?
Not their favorite choice, but they'll go with it. As long as everybody else is going with it, they're going to go along. They're not going to nobody's going to cause any trouble. You're not going to find any battles at the convention now. Not at this point.
Oh my.
So it'll be a routine convention, and at the end of it, everybody takes their gloves off. We got 100 days to go.
Yep. Meanwhile, in Beijing, Palestinian factions, Hamas and Fatah. Remember Fatah?
Sure.
They have signed an agreement. They have, and this was in China, and so they're back together now. They were mad at each other for a year or two there, And so now they're coming back together, and I guess they're going to take over the Gaza Strip and then attack Israel and take over Israel. And then they can trash that too after they're done trashing the Gaza Strip.
There'll be a little discussion before they get Israel. So
yeah, I think there'll be. I think Israel will have something to say about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and thank God they're there.
Yeah, no.
So did you hear? You know, the Olympics started, Ken.
I heard that.
And so the first day of the Olympics, apparently, there were some terrorists who set fires in the subway in the metro, and disrupted lines and broke, the electrical lines that run that send the juice to run the trains, and so they had to shut down a number of subway lines. And then on top of that, I believe it's the subway workers, the train workers are on strike. Welcome to France.
Yeah, no kidding. Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy it. Have a good time walking around because you ain't getting there on the subway, buddy boy.
But you'll love the pastries, so don't worry. Just stop it.
Pastries are good, and the Left Bank, and the Louvre, and
go up on the big tower we got. So
yeah, you can go up to the Eiffel Tower and look around. And
who wants to really watch somebody run in a circle anyway?
Not me.
I haven't watched a second of it, so I don't know. I haven't seen
It's
it.
like NASCAR. Well, what's it like? Well, zoom, make a left turn. Zoom, make a left turn. Zoom, make a left turn. How many left turns can you make?
And it's quite expensive to attend an Olympic. Hotels, they're charging you, they're gouging you, everybody's gouging you.
Oh yeah, and I'm glad that we have the Olympics, but I've kind of lost interest. To tell you the truth, Ken, I used to be a big sports guy. I was a swimmer and an athlete. I guess as I'm getting older, I'm more interested in history and politics and medicine, and I don't know.
I still like the medal count. I still watch the medal count. That's the only thing I watch. I want the U.S. to have the highest medal count.
Do you think they will?
Probably. We usually do pretty good in the summer games. Olympics and the winter games, not so much, I think. But we got about 2 minutes left here, Doc.
What are we going to talk about?
Well, it's up to you.
It's up to me.
It's your show.
Oh, did you hear about Elon? He's with all of this hoopla going on, and the Kamala and Joe Biden and all that. His X platform, formerly Twitter, has now had a resurgence. And remember when he bought it, 1 or 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And people said, oh, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. And I said, I don't think so. I think this guy's going to make some big money on this. Now, he's going to let go of maybe 25% of the stock when it goes back public again. Did you know that when they go public, the majority of the stock, they don't send it out there to be purchased by Joe Blow and you and me.
They don't.
They only let a little bit go.
Okay. Who's buying the rest of it?
He's holding on to it.
Oh, he's just holding on to it. Okay.
Yeah, he's holding on to it. It's like HCA, the Hospital Corporation of America. They took it private years ago. They bought all the stock back, and then they did a few things, and then they went public again. Well, going public means they sold about 20% of the stock. So you got these guys in Nashville or wherever the hell they live now. And, it's the Frisk family and all that. And they're worth billions and billions of dollars, and they ain't letting go, baby.
Yeah. Well, he can't. Yeah, you're right. He can't sell everything. He loses control of the company. If he wants to remain in control, he has to have the majority share.
Yeah, and I think that's why he bought more of Tesla stock. Is he thought he was going to lose control, so I think he went from about 10 or 12% to 20%. And I don't know if that was ever approved, but I know he was in the process of doing that.
Do you know if did he actually say he was going to give $45 million to the Trump campaign every month until the election?
That's what he said.
Okay. Well, all right.
We'll see what happens. You think he's going to do it?
90. Well, it's nothing to him. That's like $100 million, before the election. To him, the dinner.
Yeah. Ken, I don't understand how the economy keeps growing, and yet we have this inflation that people are complaining about. That's probably a topic for another show because we're getting close to the end here.
Yep, 1 minute, as a matter of fact, exactly.
But it's fascinating to me how we keep growing. We grew at 2.8% in the second quarter. That's pretty good growth.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Isn't that where the Fed said they're going to start bringing down their? Well, no, that's the inflation rate they're talking about. 2% inflation rate. I'm sorry, not growth. Yeah.
Yeah, 2% inflation rate is what they want to see inflation at before they'll start backing down on the interest rates on the T-bills.
Well, I hope they do that soon.
Yep, I hope they do it too, buddy.
Bring my credit card bill down a little bit. Got about 20 seconds here, Doc. You want to get the phone number for the office and all that?
727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. I am your Dr. Bill, and we're having fun. And I'm sorry if we lost the feed on Facebook and YouTube, but
Say bye.
Bye.
WGUL and W229DJ Dunedin. Powered by